All right, lecture 2.4. This is a continuation from our 5-number summary in 2.3, and we're going to learn how to create a box plot from our 5-number summary. So just recalling briefly that we had the 5-number summary for San Francisco and St. Louis. And what we want to do with this is we want to create a visual representation of these 5-number summaries. We do that by making a box plot. A box plot is useful because it separates the data into these quarter chunks. So 25% of our data is between 51 and 54.5. Another 25% of our data is between 54.5 and 58. Another quarter of our data is between 58 and 60.5. And the last quarter of our data is between 60.5 and 63. So the box plot is useful because it breaks the data into 4 equal chunks, and it also shows the concentration of values. So we'll see that in action a little bit later on, what I mean by that. So how do we create a box plot? So in the bottom left of the screen, we show kind of a general diagram of how the box plot is supposed to look. But let's do it as an example. So we're given some data here. The first thing we want to do to create a box plot is we always want to sort our data. So here I have the same data, but it's sorted from low to high. Next, I want to create my 5-number summary. So I identify the median, the lower quartile, the upper quartile, the minimum, and the maximum. So from that, I get my 5-number summary, 3, 4, 10.5, 15, and 18. Next, I'm gonna draw a box from the first quartile to the third quartile. This, as you remember, was the interquartile range, right? The difference between Q3 and Q1. So when I'm drawing this box, I'm really actually saying what the IQR is. When we're drawing this box, it's also really important to make sure that we have an appropriately scaled number line. So everything needs to be evenly spaced out. If it's not evenly spaced out, we don't get the spatial depiction of the data, which is really the whole point of why we're doing this. So we've got this nice evenly spaced out line. I create a box from Q1 to Q3. So notice Q1 was 4. So my box starts at 4, and it's going to extend all the way up to Q3, which was 15. This is why we need the 5-number summary before beginning. Next, we're going to mark where the median is. So I designate the median in the box plot by drawing a vertical line through the rectangle right where the median is. So for us, this is 10.5. Next, I'm going to draw the ends. So the ends are towards the whiskers. Those extend out to the min and the max. So I'm going to extend a horizontal line out to the min and the max, 3 and 18, and then I'm going to dash it with these whiskers right here. So again, I'm trying to relate of how this data is spread out, but what is this box plot really telling me? So again, 25% of the data is here in this first kind of whisker to box area. So a quarter of the data is really condensed into a small little area. And that makes sense for us because our first 4 data values are 3, 4, 4, 4. So I have 4 data values that are just right in between 3 and 4. The next quarter of our data is in that first half of the box. So it seems to be a bit more spread out. I still have only 3 data values there, but they're much further spread apart. So I've got 7, 10, and then I have the ends 4 and 10.5. The next quarter of data here is in this upper quartile. So that's going to be between the median and Q3. So what's left is the last quarter of data. So I hope this expresses to you how spread out or condensed the data is. So the most condensed area we have is in the first quarter.